Hatmanshadow fans, how you doing? Hatman fans, you guys are awesome. Welcome to another episode of the Hatmanshadow Show. This is episode 4, the Paranormal Activity Show. That's right, it's October in honor of Halloween. I have a video that we're going to do today, and it's on paranormal activity. Stuff that I've seen, stuff that I've been a part of from growing up to currently, and it's going to be interesting. Case in point, I got an idea for this show just the other day when I was driving through Springfield around 2 o'clock in the morning, Springfield, Missouri, leaving there headed towards Illinois. Yeah, and I saw something that was pretty weird. I don't know what it was. Still don't. I was guessing about what it was, but I assumed some sort of paranormal activity bit. Excuse me if I touch my face a bit. I got a habit, one of my tics, touching my face. I do that. All right. So I was driving along, getting sort of weary. Pull over the side of the road to rest a bit, and listen to Interview with a Vampire. Anne Rice, one of my favorite books, by the way. That series, Anne Rice. That's when vampires were vampires. Forget Twilight. Twilight's good though. I like Twilight, but those vampires ain't nothing compared to Anne Rice's vampires. You know. All right. So I'm looking on the side of the road, you know, and something catches my eye. It's like some dancing, sparkly lights, you know. And I noticed these lights are something like rhythmic, you know. And the lights, you know, they were too big to be fireflies, and they weren't coming from a fire because there was no presence of a fire, so it wasn't sparklies from the fire, you know. It was these lights just over there, just dancing around and spinning and doing some kind of crazy stuff, you know. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the hell is that? What am I looking at over here? And so I, you know, pull out my camera, of course, got the camera around, and I take a short video. It's the, you know, I'm going to probably use the footage as a trailer for this episode, but it was there, and I was intrigued because I had no idea what the hell it was. It reminded me of when I was in my 20s in Birmingham, Alabama, when I used to work for the Alabama Independent Insurance Agents Association. I was working late one night and in the office, and I'm walking around, and I happen to smell roses, a very powerful smell of roses. And I'm looking around to see where it's coming from, and there's no one there but me. It's like 11 o'clock at night, you know, and I look down the hall, and I see something like a sort of barely phased in distortion, and it was sort of dancing and gyrating, you know. I'm not sure what it was, but the scent of roses was coming from that thing. I don't know what the hell it was, and I was young, you know, and so I was a bit intimidated, borderline scared, somewhat past frightened a bit, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm clocking out, I'm getting the fuck out of here for the night. So I decided to leave and go home. All right, so I went home, and it was like, what the hell was that? Never saw it again. It was that one time. Yeah. And like, that was weird. But let me tell you about when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, I wasn't born there. I just grew up there in a family house. It's not there anymore. It's been destroyed finally. But this house, you know, generations of us grew up over there, and or lived there for one reason or another. And in that house, my Aunt Sybil, she was a crazy old woman, you know, and like you know, when she moved in, the house needed repairs, you know, the floor in the living room, big ass hole in it, and the ceiling, big ass hole in the ceiling, you know, and she fixed both of those things, changed out the water heater, had a chandelier. There was a piano she used to like to play all the time, you know, and you know, she lived there. She was some would say pretty evil ass woman, you know. Yeah. And so eventually she died in the house, right? Yeah. And well, after she died, that's when weird shit started happening. I'll get back to that in a minute. Before that, you know, in the house there were mirrors, right? Sometimes in the mirrors you would see figments, shadows sort of moving around in the mirrors. You know, just don't look at them, ignore them, they're not there. All right? Or late at night, you might hear footsteps creeping about the house. You know, may even see shadow people from time to time. Just ignore all that. It's not there. Head on the blankets, go to sleep, it's not there. Nothing happened, right? Well, I saw the orbs once, like two little green eyes sort of staring at me, but they went away, you know. Yeah, weird shit going on. Used to hear the sound of something banging on a pipe outside the house from time to time at late at night. Spooky place that was, tell you what. Yeah, but you know, after she died, the house started undoing itself. It was like the chandelier. You know, I'm sitting there at the table doing my homework, you know, the chandelier starts rocking, and it'll stop. Then start rocking again. I'm looking at it now. Damn chandelier falls down. Okay, that was weird. No particular reason. Birmingham, Alabama, don't have earthquakes. Why is it shaking? They don't know. It just did. All right. There was a time when the hot water heater that she put in the kitchen, you know, was there. That's where it was, in the corner in the kitchen, hot water heater, you know. I'm walking by, just I'm on bed and just walking by, being a stupid ass little kid, you know, just walking by, and then chatter, shaky rumble, quakey. I'm walking by and like looking. That's the hot water heater. I'm on the other side of the room, right? And all of a sudden, splash! Big ass stream of hot water comes flying from the hot water heater. The damn thing nearly hits me by a foot. But you know, I was just out of the arc of the water, so it's big mess on the floor. That was shit. All right, that's okay. That's weird. It's twice. All right, third time, I'm like hanging out in the house, random day, going to my room, you know, nothing's going on. There was a hallway that led to my room. There's a bathroom right here. There's a closet right there. And then all of a sudden, the shop vac has been sitting on the shelf for 15 years. No one touched it, no one bothered it, had no reason to move. Falls off the shelf. And where am I? Oh, well, it falls like 3 feet in front of me. I don't know what the hell that house had against me, but that house was being vengeful as a motherfucker. Alright. Then, yeah, remember I mentioned there was a hole in the floor and a hole in the ceiling? Yeah, the ceiling started leaking right where it had been patched about 15 years previous. That area is starting to leak, right? Now, there is the living room floor had a big hole in it. The hole, exact same place, starts sinking, comes back. What the hell is going on with this house, man? I don't know, but it was crazy. Yeah, there was a older brother, man. You know, he decided to sell the piano. You know, he didn't like the piano for some reason. Probably wanted some cash or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but the real reason why I found this out later, why he sold the piano, because the piano had been playing itself. It wasn't a player piano. It was like an organ, you know. You sit down, play Amazing Grace, or some other crap like that on it all the time, you know. And, well, that was Aunt Sybil's thing. She always played the piano, always playing Amazing Grace, you know. And so the piano started playing itself. She's dead now. Been dead for a while. Or about 2 years now. And the piano is playing itself. And not just any song, but the song she always played. Amazing fucking Grace. Right? So, he says, oh no, that piano's got to go. So he decides to sell it, you know, and he told me that as soon as that piano cleared the threshold of the house, it went to dust, like fell apart. You would thought Buffy Summers just stabbed the vampire, because the vampire was the piano and the piano was a pile of dust on the ground. The only thing left was a caster from one of the wheels, where it had wheels on it, Yeah, slayed. Crazy, right? Alright, so, oh, yeah, by the way, I died in the house myself too, pneumonia type 2, died. It was like a bolt of lightning went straight through my body and everything, on this angle. I was taking a shower, had enough power to type out a letter on my typewriter that I loved, to my girlfriend. Laid down in the bed, crossed my arms, died that night. That was, as I recall, it was sometime in June of 1999. I died in that house. Yeah. And, came back to life the next day. Yes, I went to the other side. Yes, I saw what was there. And it's not what you think. It ain't. It's something different. There's like more than one world over there. You got that place, you got the other place, and you got the middle place. I was in the middle place, right? And got sent back, and missing half my blood. Exactly half. Not a drop more, not a drop less, but half. Yeah, went to the doctor. Doctor says, why did you come back? Well, actually he said it was this Indian fellow. I don't know what his name was, but he says to me, why are you here? I don't know what he meant by that, because 19 years old, just coming back from dying, being dead, why are you here? I don't know. It's a good hospital. I want to get some good care, but years later I realized, that the question he asked was not the question he was asking. I shouldn't have been alive or back in this world, but I am. I was, still am. Right? So, of course I killed myself twice after that, but I got a habit of getting over it. Yeah, and so years later, I'm driving around and I see this black car, unmarked black car, town car, sedan kind of thing, and I'm driving behind it. Text messaging is still new. My phone could do it, and I get a message with no phone number, no contact info on it that says you're too close. And I was like, the fuck? So I just who are you? Send. Cannot send message, invalid number. I had to try, right? And so that was bizarre. That was in Birmingham on Green Springs Highway, close to the Palisades, which leads me to another thing that happened to me in the Palisades. I think it was around, 2013. Yeah, it was 3 days before Thanksgiving, around 6:30 p.m. I am in the Palisades, and I'm looking up at a cell tower, and plasma balls start coming from the cell tower. It was 3 of them at first, little red plasma balls that look strangely like, if you ever played Super Mario Brothers, on a Super Nintendo, where he's shooting those little fireballs out of his fingers, that's what they look like. So they come out of there and they make a mathematically perfect triangle in the sky, right? And then 3 more come out of that cell tower from the same point, and they go right to the center of the first 3. The whole damn thing turns around and flies off into space. I'm looking around to see if anyone else is watching this. Ironically, at that point in time, everyone else who was around me in the Walmart parking lot was looking down at their smartphones. I didn't have a smartphone at the time. I had a dumb phone. It was a flip phone, right? And I'm curious about what the hell is going on here. Why is it everyone is looking at their phones when this is going on in the sky? And when it stops, everybody just sort of resumes what they were doing. That was weird, bizarre, I'll tell you that, Well, I was living on South Side at the time, right? And, you know, at home, this crazy thing happens, right? These two people come knocking on my door, right? They looked like people. There was something very much off about these people. One of them was a very tall woman, and the other was a very short boy, you know? The boy looked out of place in time, and the woman was oddly tall, and her shape was slightly off. They were both wearing gray, you know, like a gray suit. His suit matched her dress perfectly. And so, I'm a fan of Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie on late at night, so you can find it. Check him out, it's a great show. And like, he says, you know, he was talking about the Grays, you know, and if you ever see one of your children, you don't mess with it, you know. And just so happens, at my door are these two people who are wearing grays. And they seem very much like they're imitating humans, right? They asked me if I spoke Chinese. No, I don't. And I pointed to the neighbors down there, right? Because my neighbors did. My neighbors were Chinese. As a matter of fact, in my apartment complex, I was the only actual black person, you know? And then there was like a white person a few buildings over. The rest was like Pacific Islander, Hispanic, and some Asians. Great place, loved it. And like, so I'm making eye contact with her. I make eye contact with him, and I'm looking at them. It's like they look at me, I'm looking at them. They give me this look like they know I know something, and I look at them like I know y'all know I know something, you know. And then they look at each other and just turn and walk away, vanish, you know. It was so silent because I noticed that they were walking, but I didn't hear their footsteps. Concrete, you make noise. It's an earth thing, you know. And so like, you know, they vanished. I thought that was weird. And so like, I'm driving around in my taxi, because I was a cab driver, and I pick up this guy who was wearing an odd shade of blue suit, you know. And I tell him what I saw, and I told him about my visitors, and he says, "Did you tell the government?" I was like, "No, why would I do that?" He says, "You're supposed to report to the government when you see stuff like that." I'm like, "I don't tell the government shit." You know, he says, "Probably best you didn't." And that was it. Weird give and take, you know. So, a few days later, I'm driving around after seeing this activity in the sky, having alien visitors, you know. And this leads me to my next point. My brain was hacked. This is how it happened, right? I'm driving down the road, and I start feeling drowsy, you know, feeling drowsy. So I pull over and stop the car, rest a bit, continue on. I'm driving, you know, again, happens again. It feels like I'm being rebooted, you know. And then like, I go another spot to this hotel, pull into the hotel, all the way up to the back fence, facing the fence now. They had to zig-zag a bit to get up in there. Take the keys out of the ignition, put them on the seat, kick the seat back. The car is off. Should not be able to move. Somebody tell me, why the fucking hell did I wake up driving down the road a mile away from where I shut down the car at? You know? I mean, my brain was hacked by whoever did that whole thing in the sky with the fireballs and this ship and all the other shit, you know. And so I'm like, oh crap, they're onto me. All right, and so I'm just like driving, you know, and I'm fairly wigged out, you know, because, you know, brain got hacked, like freaking iRobot over here, you know, what's going on, you know. And so that's not something you really get over, you know. And so I continue on. Another day, I'm on Lakeshore, long dark road, late at night, driving. I feel sort of drowsy, you know. Pull over the side of the road, shut down again, take the key out the ignition, put it on the passenger seat, kick the seat back, and I'm asleep. I feel a jostle, you know. My car just moved a bit. And I said, no, my car is still moving. I look over, When you take the keys out the ignition, the car is in drive, park actually, car can't move. So I'm like, oh, this shit again. And so like, I look out the window. Damn sure enough, the ground is moving. The ground's not moving. I'm moving. Some invisible force is moving my car. I'm like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden, comes to a stop. You know? I'm like, shit. What now? Alright. And so like, I, wait a minute. Ease my seat back up. Get the key. Put it in the ignition. Crank it up, turn on, get the fuck out of Dodge ASAP. And that's the last time I ever took a sleep break on Lakeshore Drive late at night. You know, because like we have freaking aliens hijacking my brain. And for good measure, they're freaking you know, pulling my car around late at night while I'm in it. And coming to my house for a visit. I'm like, okay, black man don't get abducted, black man get fucked with. Okay, this is funny. So like, you know what, aliens? I got it. You're good, I'm good. We got understanding here, right? Leave me alone, I leave y'all alone. So, you know, it's all good. That was that. Yeah, so paranormal activity. It's a thing. It happens, it's real, and actually makes life kind of fun. So thanks, my Hatman fans. I hope you found this video entertaining. Chos, and have a spooky October. Peace out, y'all.